Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Jared. I host a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics, and I'm a socialist, so let's talk about this. And I would challenge any of these Democrats that just voted to denounce socialism to tell me which aspect of socialism do you have a problem with, and I'll use Webster's dictionary to define it for you. So egalitarian means pro-equality. If you're a Democrat, what problem do you have with equality? I'm pro-union, which means I'm a syndicalist socialist, and I think everybody ought to join a union. And if you're a Democrat and you have a problem with socialism, what problem do you have with me being pro-union? And then I want everyone to have universal health care, education, income, and housing, and I would rather we use our tax dollars to help us rather than what we call it, corporate welfare, right? I'm for an end to Citizens United. Let's get stock trading out of politics. Let's get people into politics that aren't there to try to profit off their position and the knowledge that they have, right? And then also when we talk about advocating collective or governmental ownership and means of the production and distribution of goods, that's what unions are for. So do you understand? Like, when I say overthrow the means of production, I mean no, join a union. So again, I would just ask, pro-equality, is that your problem? Pro-union, is that a problem? Universal healthcare, education, income, and housing instead of $1 trillion for the military-industrial complex where military contractors get half. Hey, I'm all for fully funding the fucking military, but you know what I'm not for? $500 million in military-industrial complex contracts to defense contractors. I was on active duty in the Marine Corps Infantry in 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marines Weapons Company, the most combat-deployed unit in Marine Corps history, and guess what? We didn't have all of our gear. It had to be donated. So think about that. While we give $500 billion to defense contractors, the guys on the ground that serve, they don't even get all that gear. You got to buy it yourself. So anyway, I want you to think about what I said, take notes if you need to, and contact your elected officials, especially if they're a Democrat and they denounced socialism. And now you have a good idea of what it is. I'm the founder of the American Socialist Party. If we can have the America First Party, the technocrat, fascist, accelerationist party in the United States that wants to hoard all of the wealth, turn everyone else into slave labor, I think we all ought to have healthcare, education, and income and housing before you try to do that. So have a great weekend. Go Hurricanes. See ya tomorrow. We're going to start fundraising to formally become the American Socialist Party. We're going to show these old motherfuckers that are about to kick the whatever. Show them what's up. I'm not trying to talk about anybody dying. That's weird. But yeah, let's talk about it. What's your beef with socialism? Why are you so pro-capitalism? Which of these interests, which of these lobbies are in your pocket? Because that's what ultimately you'll figure out. If they're opposed to any universal healthcare, education, income, or housing, that just tells you who's financing them. Get them out of politics. They do not have your best interest. Have a good day.